organizations to discuss the issue of Islam. So when I go to a church and I see there are all these audience sitting there and they want to know Islam, I ask them and I tell them that when you talk about Islam, you are talking a major world religion. And you are talking an intellectual and spiritual tradition which is 1400 years old. And it is as complex and as deep, in fact maybe deeper, than your own tradition. There are elements of faith, there are elements of worships, there is law, there is ethics, there are sects and denominations, there are inner and external dimensions of Islam, there are cultural varieties between, say, a Turkish Islam and a Saudi Islam, and it is not possible for me to tell you in 1 hour what really Islam is. So I want you to tell me one topic which you have on your mind, and let us discuss that one topic. So at least there is some clarity on that one issue. And you all know what is that topic which they want me to discuss. That topic is terrorism. So now the question is that should I discuss Islam or should I discuss terrorism? In their mind they are linked. In my mind they are not. Because this terrorism which we are facing, it does have a religious dimension, there is no doubt about it, we cannot deny it. But it is the product of certain political conditions. You know, in fact, Michael Schwer, that CIA man who broke away from Bush administration and then wrote various things, he said we can easily pull the rug under bin Laden and his movement if we do these 10 things. Okay? If we start supporting Israel, if we do not invade Muslim lands, if we do not install these dictators. So he has all these things. He says if we respond to all that, then in fact we can very successfully defeat this terrorism. But this is exactly what they will not do. Okay? Because America as a superpower has to pursue what they consider their legitimate political, economic and strategic interests as the superpower of the world. They truly believe that they are the Romans of this age. And Romans used to say that what gods are allowed to do, cows are not. So they think that the cows should not question us and they should not ask what is our rule and what behavior we should adopt. So this creates another difficulty, and the way they structure dialogue, and sometimes I see that how Muslims are continuously apologizing and defending themselves, okay, and reminding them that this is the religion of peace. Okay, but the question here is that we have to first of all we need to understand that what is the proper nature of this religio-political conflict in which we are. If after 9/11 Americans are reading Quran, then should after Iraq invasion we should study Bible, and will Bible explain that why this violence is being committed? Should we read Torah to figure out Israeli brutalities in occupied lands? And if their violence has to be understood in political language, then why Muslim violence should be studied only from theological point of view? And this is in fact a very fraudulent framework of thought, and the way it is structured, that Muslims unwillingly and without careful thought they get involved into that and start apologizing for that. So therefore I always take this position that if you want me to talk about terrorism, let us talk what are the roots and foundations of this terrorism. Of course, the problem is and that the way Western society separates between religion and secular, that process has not taken place in the Muslim world. So in Muslim world, Islam is more overtly involved into politics. In Western societies, it is covertly involved in politics. Publicly, it is not stated. When they go to war, they do not take Bible to the battlefield. but they have developed some other scriptures, okay? Some other books, the books of progress, the books of human rights, the books of democracy. They take these books to the battlefield. We take our Quran to the battlefield, and that's the way it is, the impression is created that Islam is violent, okay? And Islam is intolerant. But the fact is that a secular society can be as violent as a religious society. Okay? Crusades are religious, Holocaust is secular. But both are inhuman, and both violate the human rights of the communities with whom you disagree. So when we talk about American involvement in these interfaith issues, I think we have to understand, and in fact Brother Abdullah Ghazi mentioned this to me when he was talking to me the other day about this program, that we should keep in mind that how interfaith is really not interfaith, but in fact it is our broader relationship and interaction with the larger society in which we are. And here I would say that the movements and the groups like Dr. Ahmadullah Siddiqui, Dr. Irfan Ahmad Khan, the work which they are starting is in fact very, very important. One of our greatest difficulty is that we really do not have enough educated, learned scholars in our community who can handle these issues in a proper manner, in an educated manner. We have a lot of well-meaning engineers, technicians, businessmen, and physicians who are very happy to do this work, but most of the time the way they do it, it backfires because they really do not have the relevant expertise and they do not understand the context in which a certain debate is initiated. And in fact, I would say that most of the time, unfortunately, our mosques are really not very helpful because their imams are either they are brought from back home or their total qualification is indoctrination in some Wahhabi institution in the Saudi Arabia. And much of the time they are focused on declaring Muslims non-Muslims, and who is really not a true Muslim. That is their prominent game. And highly focused on trivial issues, the issues which are really not important. My colleague and the chairman of our department, Dr. Paul Parker, some of you know him and met him very well. And sometimes he goes and sits in a Jummah mosque. And last week he was in a very huge mosque, which is built with $5 million and there are 2,000 people. And the imam spoke that boys should not wear baggy pants. This was the khutbah. And when he came back, he thought that baggy pants have some kind of problem which Muslim community is facing, which he as an American cannot understand. And he wanted to explain this to him, that what is a big problem of baggy pants in the Muslim community. And I'm not kidding and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. And he said I said, no, it's ridiculous. This should not even be a topic of khutbah. He said, no, there were 1,000 people and I didn't see anybody objecting to that. So obviously there is some problem. Okay? So this is the problem, that the Muslim community, which is facing life and death issues, we are lost in this treaty. And that is a problem, very big problem. And it forces us that before we go and change the world, there is a greater need that we reform ourselves. And we clarify issues in our own mind, what really Islam is, and what is important in Islam, what are the things worth fighting for, and what are the grounds which can bring all Muslims, their differences of opinion and fiqhi varieties, how we can bring all of them under one platform. And that will provide us a more solid ground to have a more faithful and genuine dialogue with other communities rather than simply covering up our problems and using dialogue simply as a technique to protect ourselves when we are under attack. Thank you very much, and I apologize I cannot stay long because I assume that